പ്രസക്തിയും മാധ്യമ പ്രവർത്തന പങ്കാളിത്തവും എന്ന വളരെ കാലിക പ്രസക്തിയുള്ള ഒരു വിഷയമാണ് ഇവിടെ നമ്മൾ സെമിനാറിൽ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യുന്നത്. നമ്മളെ സംബന്ധിച്ചോളം ഇന്ന് ഭാഗ്യം നമ്മുടെ ഈ സെമിനാറിൻ്റെ മുഖ്യ അതിഥിയായിട്ട് ഇവിടെ എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്ന നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വേൾഡ് മലയാളി കൗൺസിലിൻ്റെ സ്വന്തമായ നമ്മളുടെ എല്ലാം ഹൃദയങ്ങളിൽ സ്ഥാനമുള്ള പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട TP ശ്രീനിവാസൻ IFS സാറാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഫോർമർ അംബാസിഡർ. നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാം ക്ഷണം സ്വീകരിച്ച് വളരെ തിരക്കുകളുണ്ടായിട്ടും സാറിവിടെ എത്തി. സാറിനുള്ള നന്ദി ഈ അവസരത്തിൽ പ്രത്യേകം രേഖപ്പെടുത്തുന്നു. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ വേൾഡ് മലയാളി കൗൺസിലിൻ്റെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ഗ്ലോബൽ ചെയർമാൻ ജോണി കുരുവിള, ഗ്ലോബൽ പ്രസിഡന്റ് ബേബി മാത്യു സോമതീരം, ഗ്ലോബൽ അംബാസിഡറും ഈ ഗ്ലോബൽ കോൺഫറൻസിൻ്റെ ചെയർപേഴ്സണുമായ ശ്രീ ഐസക് ജോൺ പട്ടാണിപ്പറമ്പിൽ, പിന്നെ അതുപോലെ ഗ്ലോബൽ VP അഡ്മിൻ ശശി നടക്കൽ, VP ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ചാൾസ് പോള്, നമ്മുടെ ഷാഹുൽ ഹമീദ് VP ഇൻചാർജ് ഓഫ് മിഡിൽ ഈസ്റ്റ് റീജിയൻ, അങ്ങനെ ഒത്തിരി നേതാക്കന്മാരുണ്ട്. എല്ലാവരും പേര് പറയാൻ പോയ സമയം പോകും. എല്ലാവരെയും ഞാൻ ഈ യോഗത്തിലേക്ക്, അതുപോലെ നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും സീനിയറും നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാം പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട വർഗീസ് പനക്കൽ, ജാനറ്റ് വർഗീസ്, അങ്ങനെ നമ്മുടെ പ്രവൃത്തിച്ച് അങ്ങനെ എല്ലാവരും ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ട്. എല്ലാവരെയും പ്രത്യേകം ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുന്നു. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാം ഒരു സ്വകാര്യ അഹങ്കാരമായ നമ്മുടെ പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട PH കുര്യൻ സാറ്, നമുക്കറിയാം വേൾഡ് മലയാളി കൗൺസിലിന് ഒരു സമ്മാനമായി കിട്ടിയത് ഒരു ആളാണ് നമ്മുടെ കുര്യൻ സാറ്. അപ്പോൾ കുര്യൻ സാറിനെയും പ്രത്യേകം ഈ ഇതിലേക്ക് ഹാർദവമായിട്ട് സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു.
Kind words and also the invitation for me to inaugurate this media seminar. But before that, I should say that this is nothing but a miracle that has happened today. I think Johnny and Somadhiram and Isaac, between these three veterans of World Malayali Council, they have pulled it off. I never imagined that this will happen. Right from the days when we planned it, we were all ready to go to Azerbaijan. And so many things happened, how many wars, how many developments which altered the global situation itself. And at one point the war came very close to us in Qatar. So every time I thought that 28, 29, I'll be free at home, this will not happen. But it's really a miracle, and I think we owe it to them. They have pulled it off in spite of all the problems, and also very optimistically about it. Because Johnny was always very optimistic. He had no doubts that it would happen. And that is something about the Malayali community in general. We may have differences, we may have many associations, etc. But I don't mind that. Whenever new associations have been created, I always went and inaugurated it for them. Because what is the harm? The more the merrier. We have more presidents, more secretaries, more editors. As long as they all work in a kind of harmony, there's no harm in having several organizations. That's my view. And I was there at the time of Fokana in 1983, and I was there when FOMA was formed, and I was there when World Malayali Council was formed. So I'm some kind of a Jambawan who can write a whole history of Malayali community in the world. But I'm no journalist at all, so I do not think I am very qualified to speak. But one thing, I don't know whether you notice it, that there is really no difference between diplomats and journalists. The only difference is what we write are kept away in the, in the libraries or in the document rooms of the Ministry of External Affairs, while what journalists write are published. That's the only difference. And this difference I know because after 37 years in the Foreign Service, I became an accidental journalist when Reggie Menon asked me to start a program for Asian news. And then I discovered that the two versions are not different at all. Because we have to report what we see and also suggest policy decision making to the government. That is what diplomats do. But the journalists have the need for them to reach first. In our case, reaching first is not the main thing. That being accurate is the main thing about diplomats. And journalists are more free because they can float ideas, While we cannot do that, we have to come to some conclusions. So other than that, there is no difference between journalists and diplomats. And when I did this Asianet program, I realized the journalists have a higher responsibility also, because you are completely open and open to criticism. And I was astonished that people listen to you very carefully. You make one mistake and that will be immediately noticed. Sometimes very surprising, because one would think that, a slip of the tongue would not be noticed. Just the other day when I was talking about Jammu and Kashmir, I said, when I came to POK, I said, Azad. He said it. That's all that I said. Azad I didn't say. And then I went on to say POK, I corrected it, because Azad Kashmir is not the word that we use. But immediately the next day, people wrote to me saying that, how come you could use the word Azad Kashmir? I have not used it. So it is, no apology is possible, no correction is possible, because they expect the highest kind of accuracy from you. And for journalists, it is more difficult because time is of the greatest essence. And in our case, it is slightly different. Because I don't need to tell you that the revolution in information technology, artificial intelligence, they have altered the professions of both journalists as well as diplomats. Because now creativity is not so very important. And also research can be easily available. In a minute, ChatGPT can give you an essay on whatever subject you need. And this is a big challenge, because when you use this information that is available in the public domain, you have to be very careful, because if you use that information, you become accountable for it. And so it's a challenge for all of us that the technology is catching up with this. And in fact, we all may feel that there is no need for it. Felt that unless there is some regulation of artificial intelligence, it could be dangerous to the world. Of course, the fact that Hitler of the future or Mussolini of the future will have greater destruction capability is something that people are worried about. But more than that, the speed with which things change. I'm sure you all read Yuval Harari's writings. Something he always stresses when he talks of the Malayalam, but they all know English, I'm sure. I am under that pressure in the Asianet every day. When I say a few words in English, immediately below, English Dr. Sreenivasan was a friend of mine, not my son or relative. And I'm very fond of him. I invite him often to my show. And one day we were speaking in English to each other. So immediately he said, "Nee, Dr. Sreenivasan, Malayalam, English, right?" No, I spoke in English because it is easier for me to put my thoughts together. And I'm sure all of you know enough English to understand that. So, I was saying that Yuval Harari recently said that we do not realize that artificial intelligence is growing much faster than we imagine. And what he said was, human beings were also amoebas centuries ago. And we developed into our situation after many, many years, many centuries. We are now the human beings or Homo sapiens. But artificial intelligence, according to him, is fasting 10 times, 20 times faster, growing 10 times, 20 times faster than the evolution of human beings. And that is where he sees the danger, because it will start affecting your style and your way of reporting much faster than what we imagine. So, artificial intelligence will reach maturity not after thousands of years, but much faster than that. That is his calculation. And therefore, your creativity becomes unimportant. Now, for example, if you want to write a poem, you simply have to tell ChatGPT and the poem will appear. So, creativity is affected, and every time new technology develops, poets become very uncomfortable. When Gagarin went up into space, and everybody was very happy and thrilled, but one poet in Kerala, Dr. Ayyappa Panikar, pointed out the dangers of what Gagarin had done. Gagarin, Gaganacharyan, Pathigan and Vadi Vittumarin. This was his reaction. He was not happy. Why was he not happy? He was saying that as poets, we visualize a world of our own, imaginary world. And we convince everybody that there is God there up in the heavens, and there are Devadasis around him, and beautiful gardens. All this we believe that one day we'll go to heaven. Nobody wants to be in a hurry to go to heaven, but we all want to go there one day. And this is the imagination that you have. But when Gagarin went up there, he found out that there is no such thing. There is no God there are no Kinnaras, no Devas, nobody. So he says, what do we do now, poets? He has taken away the pleasure of creativity. And so he was saying that now poets will have to change their style. They have to reinvent poetry. You need new thermometers and new stethoscopes and so on. That's what he said, that the poets must acquire that. So that is another challenge, that the reality and actual or imagination also get affected by all this. So therefore, the field of journalism is certainly at a time of challenge. And so a seminar like this, I think we should share our thoughts. എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് ജേർണലിസത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന പ്രശ്നങ്ങൾ, അതെങ്ങനെ പരിഹരിക്കാൻ കഴിയുമെന്നൊക്കെയുള്ളതായിരിക്കും നമ്മൾ ചർച്ച ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. അതിന് കൂടുതലിലേക്കൊന്നും ഞാൻ പോകുന്നില്ല. അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് മാത്രം, ജേർണലിസത്തിൻ്റെ ട്രാൻസ്ഫോർമേഷൻ എത്രയാണ്, അത് മെഷർ ചെയ്യുക, അതെങ്ങനെയാണ് ബെറ്റർ കൂടുതൽ നന്നായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കാൻ കഴിയുക എന്നൊക്കെയാണ്. പിന്നെ കോമ്പറ്റീഷൻ ഇസ് മച്ച് മോർ നൗ ടുഡേ. So all these elements must be in our thinking, and I hope many of you contribute to that. So let me say how happy I am that I have been asked to say a few words on this occasion. And I hope that we have a very useful discussion with this. Thank you very much.